Dropping some gems here, people. Just a reminder, at Fully Booked on the Instagram. Flipping hell. That's gone dead. I forgot your Instagram.
Being Alphie. Being Alphie.
I was testing him. At Being Alphie on the Instagrams, yeah?
Big up, man.
But it's not at Fully Booked, it's full_E.
I'm social thing. Yeah. But yes, it's livening up in the studio, having a good session.
Yeah, it's good, man. I'm enjoying this.
I guess we're going on to the next question, and it goes back to the parents' issue, but in regards to parents, he mentions it in one of the stories. So he says, Brian Wampler's parents, both commission sales reps were entrepreneurial than the average mum and dad, but they raised Brian to follow the money and do the job that paid, regardless of whether you are passionate about it or not. Did your parents push you towards money or passion? And that's for everyone as well.
Shad.
I'll go first.
Go on.
I was never, I think when in my teen years especially, I'm not gonna lie, I think we all got the ability to be superb in anything. I honestly think that. Like, I honestly think if you dedicate enough time to something, you can teach yourself to be, or you can be taught to be superb in anything you want to do. I think one of the things that I would say was almost missing as such, but not because at the end of the day, if you know something from day one, or you've got an inbuilt passion, or you're passionate about something and you want to drive towards that, nothing's stopping you, yeah? But I know during my teen years, I never got directed or guided or kind of, I don't know how to put it, but it's like I almost I was coasted through my teenage years in terms of, like, I wasn't dedicated enough to something to really take off. I don't know if I'm making sense here.
No,
but
I think you're right.
it's just, I just feel like if at a younger age, like for instance, I remember being in primary school, yeah? I remember coming home in the evenings, and I remember like asking my mum every evening, badgering her, "Mum, can you give me maths questions? Can you give me maths questions?" I love maths. She'd be like, "Oh, go away," like, and she'll give me. I used to love things like countdown at a young age, you know. Yeah. And not the letters. No. English ain't my strong point. I used to love the numbers. Okay. When Carol and I used to bring up the numbers and the little. I used to love numbers. I remember thinking like, if I had kept that passion and that fire for like I still love maths and numbers, but if I kept that passion, where could I have gone with it? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just it wasn't cultivated. Yeah. I don't know. So I feel like that's why I say I think it's important. And when I do have children, if I have the facility or the capability to, I want to give them the chance to explore so many different avenues so they can discover what they're passionate about, and I will help to drive that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would say the same in regards to myself, if I'm honest. Like you mentioned, there was a very similar question earlier that you said, and the first thing I thought to myself was, my dad's quite like a very disciplined person in terms of like, this is what you can do, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. But I think he probably tried to direct me unfortunately him and mum split up, so I was gonna say he left the house, but I mean, I feel like I was a law unto my own, not as in bad, but I think I've always just known. So he was like, you're doing this, and in my mind I'm saying yeah, but I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, and to the point now, obviously I've gone to his yesterday, and he's telling me, trying to get me out of going Barcelona. Why don't you just go for a week? Yeah, I'm going for a week. I'm coming back, and I'm going back. Yeah, that's what's happening. I'm going there to get a place, and I'm coming back here, and I'm going back. That's what's happening. And I think they've just learned to understand that actually he's just not loyal to it, but I mean he's got his own thoughts, and these are things that we're not in control of, you know. And to an extent, they probably don't even know what I want. But when I do speak to my mum about things that I'm going to do or want to do, I think they see the passion and understand actually he's very clear as to what he's doing. When I first told mum I was going to, I didn't even tell her actually. What happened? I told her, no, this happened.
No, I remember the story.
Listen, I remember the story. When I went backpacking traveling in 2012, it was like, so where are your parents from?
Nigeria.
All right, I don't know if you've seen this expression before. My mum bit her tongue like, what is he doing? And she just went off. All right, 2017. I told her the day before, like, Mum, I need to speak to you. I'm going to Central America for 2 months. She almost cried. And then when we came to moving to Barcelona, I told her, she went to Ghana for like a month. And I planned on telling her before, but I thought she's gone now. So like one day she rang me. I was like, sorry, I've got to tell you something. She goes, what? I'm moving to Barcelona. And she was actually like, good, well done. Like,
Sick.
But the point I was making is like they weren't. Then they've never been in control as to what they think I should do because I've always been like a free spirit.
Yeah, got ya.
Yeah, so they might have wanted to kind of like cultivate some type of avenue or route, but I just don't think it was.
Yeah.
For me, I was always pushed towards my passion, but at the same time, because before, obviously we all know each other from playing football back in the days.
Okay.
I was an avid football player. Could have been pro. I guess all of us at one point could have been pro, but I was at a decent level where I could have been pro. But yeah, I think I was always pushed towards doing the football, doing the sports, but at the same time, I was always told, make sure that you do your books. That was always something that was really, just in case you don't make it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like that may have been a bit of a hindrance because it's like when you're at that age and you're really going for it, you should be focused fully on that. There's no distractions. But I was always, but maybe I might not make it. So that doubt in itself, it sows a seed and that can grow and, do you know what I mean? Distract your journey.
Just to add to my point, so like similar to P, like my father left the household like kind of 11, 12, and then what happened now is there was a disconnect, almost a little bit of a disconnect between me and my mother. And that was all throughout my teenage period. It was just like things going on, and there was a bit of a disconnect. Obviously, my mum's trying to get by, so it's like I just kind of was there, not there, but I was just left to my own device. I'll be honest. Like I was just left to my own devices. So in school, I wasn't a bad or rude or anything like that. Like everyone knew me. I was just okay, innit? Like in school, grades were like the best way to put it, I didn't excel. I could have excelled more. I didn't push myself enough, and I think part of that was because it was almost like whatever you get, it doesn't matter. I didn't come from, and I think part of that's because my dad wasn't in the household.
Yeah,
like it was, you know what I mean? So I didn't really. I think I kind of just, when you just coasted.
Yeah, of course.
I coasted through my like early teens and late teens. I coasted so much, and I think like when you're a teenager, you got a lot of knowledge, and the thing is, you got enthusiasm. And you can if you're dedicated, you got the work rate there, you got everything, you got youth on your side. And I think you can do a lot, or you can accomplish, or you can start setting up yourself from a young age. These teenagers are not silly, they're not stupid. You get what I'm saying? Not at all. They're just young. That's all it is. And people might not take them seriously, but the brain's there already. Do you know what I'm saying? And I just coasted for too long when I was younger. And I think part of me wishes that I had more of that kind of a little bit more strictness, a little bit more direction. Here's what it is.
Cool. I'll jump on slightly before you answer.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, of course.
Again, this is about personal branding, and on Gary V thinks that everyone needs to become a brand. What do you guys think? Do you think everyone needs to be a brand in this day and age?
I think that comment is so loose from Gary. I think it's so broad. Like, there's some people. It depends what you want out of life. I think somebody said to me that within the next 20 years, if you haven't got something on the internet, no one will know who you are, because that's the only way we'll really communicate. Like, everyone will search, so you have to have published something, written something, have some sort of digital footprint. I think is what they said. Do I feel that everyone needs to have a personal brand? No. Do they need to be able to be found online? Yes. But personal brand is so strong. Do you know what I mean? And I think there's only certain amount of people that really want to put themselves out there and can because you got to understand, like it's so mad. It's a lot. It's not even just that. It's like you say something, this your heart, and I think they talk about. In fact, they do talk about this in the book. And then somebody completely, because their worldview is different, annihilates you. Annihilates you. Gives you the comment. Like I've had it already. People, he's wearing Mason rings. What? What?
You're gonna get people they
will just troll you. Do you know what I mean? And behind that screen, they're gangsterish, mad gangsterish. And what are you meant to do? Like, you respond to it. You're in the game. You don't respond to it. They're like, you see, he's a Mason. He is a Mason. Do you know what I mean? So, man, I think that you got to be up here quite strong. You got to be up here, and I think that's the danger of saying everyone should have a personal brand. I think that's a bit irresponsible saying that. Like, I think certain people should do, depending on what your goal is. But if that's not you, just chill, have your profile, let people be able to contact you, and you're not putting yourself out there. You're not, because that's not for everyone. Is my opinion.
Oh, good answer. Man. P, Mace.
Again, I think it depends what you want to do. I mean, in regards to myself and a personal brand, it wasn't something that, because I think I have maybe experiences which can I can shape into a personal brand and stuff like that. But I've had to really sit and think of it as to, is it something that I want to do? Because again, there's parts of me I don't mind sharing, there's parts of me I don't necessarily want to share. And I think in cultivating a brand or personal brand, I think it can open doors for you which can take you ultimately to where you want to go. So I know he speaks about The Rock, and there was like 2 or 3 other people, I think, in the book as well. And The Rock himself, he was a wrestler. He spoke of Oprah Winfrey, and maybe there's 2 other people as well. Fat Jewish. You know Fat Jewish on...
No. He did speak about that.
Oh, yeah, but he's him as well. Like, it's quite funny on Twitter anyway. Yeah, so... Yeah, I think there are definitely pros to it, but it depends. I think ultimately you need to know what you want, and it's funny because I think I wrote this in my introduction in regards to developing brands and stuff like that. I, for the longest time, didn't understand like where and why there was so much money in marketing, and then it took me probably in recent time to kind of like sit and understand. There's so many different people in terms of companies XYZ out there that people are jostling and fighting for position, and depending on what you want, and if you do become a personal brand, you can then excel in that field as to people hiring your service to do X, Y, Z, so on and so forth. But ultimately depends what you want. Me personally, I've got a vision as to some of the stuff that I want, and I feel there are definitely advantages to having a personal brand. And it's just a case of literally just fighting with yourself. It's just like questioning 1 or 2 things. How much do you want to give of yourself?
Yeah, on that note, I mean, I'm going to start off with the whole social profile and social boom, like to mention some social what do you call them? Media outlets. So like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all these things. With me, I had Facebook when I was young, but I was following a hype, yeah? I come off Facebook maybe late teens, early 20s, and I didn't have social media for ages and ages and ages. And it just and from day dot, see all these Instagrams, all that, I've only ever looked at them see our fully booked thing, I've only ever looked at them as, I see it as a way of like a business, like it's there for a business purpose, and you can get marketing from that, if that makes sense. Or companies will, if you get big enough in that, companies will want to want to advertise on your page or with you or whatever. Or it's about marketing yourselves as a business. I don't even look at Instagram and think I want to show everyone my life. I don't at all. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't look at I don't have Facebook still. I have Snapchat. I have that. It's 20 minutes entertainment in the evening. That's it. It's one of my guilty pleasures again. Yeah. But like I just feel like with personal brand, it just depends on what you want at the end of the day, and it's not. It depends on if you're trying to, because at the end of the day, if you're trying to build yourself up, people are trying to get somewhere in life in terms of be out there in the public realm. People buy into you as much as they'll buy into anything else. You know what I'm saying? They buy into your personality. And there's one guy, I don't mind mentioning his name, Steven the Madman. I don't know if you guys all, So his whole personal thing, I'm happy for him because he but he documents his whole life. That's the way I like things a little bit more private, and to me, but good for him, he documents his whole life, and because of that, he gets his little breaks here and there, and it's helping him to help his family. Do you get what I'm saying? With me, I'm not really into that. Yeah, I like to keep certain things here, and I don't mind showing you that. Or with the fully booked thing, okay, maybe I'll post a picture of me on holiday to promote us fully booked. Do you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I guess that echoes what Alphie was saying. It depends on who you are, what your personality is. If you're an introvert, then I guess having a personal brand is not going to work for you, being out there all the time. So yeah, I guess
it's a lot to keep up with as well. That's what I think. I'm telling you, and
it is work, bro.
You can. It's a job.
Work, man.
It's a job, and like you can get caught up in your own hype as well. And you can. I think a lot. This is just a personal opinion. It's not based on any facts. There's a lot of people out there. They throw up all these pictures of this, that, and the third. There's a lot of unhappy people, man. Trust me. There's a lot of unhappy people out there. They throw a lot of stuff up and make you feel like they're living their best life, so to speak. And I wish I was doing that. There's a lot of unhappy people, man. Trust me. You can be a lonely person. Like you can have all these followers and be lonely.
100%.
You can be lonely.
And that goes back to authenticity. Yeah. I mean, because a lot of people are just kind of like putting out a snapshot of the, let's say, the end product. But I mean, before the end product, there's so much work that goes into, being successful or finally launching XYZ. And
this is the thing, when you get that little that little red heart.
Endomorphine. Is that
yeah, that's literally it. That's what happened. You get a little bit of, it's a release. It's a what's the word? Oh.
A rush, a buzz.
No, there's an actual word for it. That's this. Oh, it'll come back to me. But it's released in the brain. Dopamine. Thank you very much. You get a little dopamine rush, and people get addicted to that. So they start instead of going out with, I want to put this content out because it's my heart. They go, I want to get a like.
Okay.
But the apps are built like that. So
100%.
it's to keep your eyes on it. It's to get as much attention on the app as possible. Like, that's how they actually build their apps around it. So
attention economy.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
I hate stuff like that. Even the words, the phrase annoys me. Attention economy.
It's the truth.
What's crazy? I've got a friend. He'll take a photo. Say like he's abroad somewhere. He'll take a photo, and then he'll look at the time, look at what day it is. He said, "No, I can't post that now. I won't get enough likes.
Yeah.
I'll do it Sunday 4:30 because people are just finished." He's trying to work out these algorithms. No, he's just a standard bloke. He's just a standard guy that has a 9 to 5 and that. But he wants to rack up the likes. He said they do it this time. No, this will be my throwback. What do you call it?
Throwback Thursday.
Throwback Thursdays.
Yeah, this will be my throwback Thursday in 3.5 weeks' time. Like that's. I'm like, you lot are mad, bro.
But this is the thing. For me, then you're not building a personal brand. You're building a personal fake.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
and for me, it's just then like, what is it you actually want to do? What are you chasing?
Yeah,
So,
moving on slightly, I know we mentioned a few of the different platforms.
Yeah.
Gary goes on to mention about using the use of Snapchat, Instagram stories, YouTube videos, and Facebook Live 3, 4, 5 times per day to share the world enough through your eyes. Do you think this is practical or dependent on what you do?
For me, I've had a fight with myself in regards to if I am to share content, how would I do it? Because I'm very uncomfortable with turning it on and then being myself, because I feel that's no, I can't do that. I'm not doing that. Like, so out there he goes, what did you say? You said something.
What, when I was recording?
Yeah, you said something first before you recorded. He said say something. He might.
No, he didn't. It was like, yeah, he just said something to get our attention.
And I was like, whoa, what's all that about? Like, I don't know, it's just the way I am kind of thing, you know what I mean? Whereas I was speaking to Hezron, the guy holding the camera, and I was telling him, like, with the stuff that I'm trying to do, I've got no problem with someone following me around for a day to build content around some of the content I have. Specifically. But I'm not just going to go, hey guys, it's me. No. We ain't doing that. Not in 2019. We ain't doing that. Not at all. So he mentioned stuff about how it's really important to kind of document your life, and I think there's a real value and real importance in sharing the process, and that's how you can get people to buy into you. I kind of buy into that, but in terms of, as I mentioned before, just turning the camera on and sharing people I'm eating a was it quinoa salad or whatever? Nah,
quinoa. I'm done.
We all make mistakes. Whatever it is, quinoa. Why we ain't doing that? Whatever it is.
I love it.
Pronunciation wasn't right. It's not my thing. Yeah, quinoa. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
What about yourselves?
Well, for me, I think, like I post probably on Instagram stories maybe 4 or 5 times, maybe a bit more a day. But generally, I try and mix it up between life, what I'm doing, shout outs to people.
Yeah,
like a lot of people that say comments. I like to show love back, and then the mad, and then a bit of the mad fun things that I still do. So for me, I'm quite comfortable in doing that. But am I going to get in front of the camera and just talk absolute nonsense? In fact, I will drop lyrics sometimes.
Yeah,
because I'm well, no. I'll hear tunes and I'll drop the bars. I guess it's just me just enjoying my life as well. Okay. But one thing I haven't ever really got is the people that will take pictures of food until it gets cold.
What's that about?
I don't get it until the food gets cold. I've been trying to see people and then take it the perfect shot until the food gets cold.
When the plate hits the table.
Yeah.
It's curtains.
What would be real would be taking a picture after saying, sorry, I wasn't trying to find that filter that made it look. None of that, bro.
Alright, cool. I think, this is going to be a question for the boys. Many of the entrepreneurs we spoke to didn't know what they were doing when they first started vlogging or podcasting or either. And it shows. Hold on. and it showed. But they worked at it every day, analysing their content, engaging with audiences to see what resonated and what didn't, and studying other personal brands to see what strategies they could adapt for themselves. They practiced their craft as intensely and as methodically as a surgical resident practices her stitches or professional basketball. I don't know.
Yeah, professional basketball player. Yeah.
No, but this doesn't even say it like
Okay.
that. But practices his layups. The question for you guys is, can we say that we do this, and why not? And if we do, how?
I've begun to analyse, like, I don't necessarily want to say the stuff that I'm currently doing at this moment in time. I've got no problem discussing it off camera or that type of stuff. I think in regards to that, I've just got to a point where I think to myself, actually, let's deliver, all right, instead of talking about stuff. But I think there's definitely pros to analysing people. So there's one or two people I've actually analysed in regards to what they're doing, and I've actually used them, actually, your blueprint, actually, for what I'm doing. And funny enough, actually, these people are new. Like, very new to what very new in what they're doing. But for me, they're like trailblazers. I was telling Mason that I bumped into one of them. He didn't know who I was or anything like that. And I just shook his hand and said, you know what, I see what you're doing, love what you're doing, just keep up the good work, X, Y, Z. I looked at their blueprint and thought, you know what, I'm following it. No nonsense, I'm following the blueprint, and I'm sure it'll take me to where I want to go. I'm confident it'll take me where I want to go.
Success leaves track, so whenever, that's the whole reason you follow a blueprint. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, no need for a map, innit? Just everyone just go and get lost. But I think that's smart to do. To be fair, I think if you find somebody who is attractive, like what they're doing is attractive, and you can see how they're doing it, why not pattern it? Of course.
Yeah, I've been watching them for time as well. For a long time, not so much so save their videos, got their videos saved in little boxes, anyway, save like compartments, all that type of stuff. Yeah, I definitely watch. Now I'm getting into a habit where I watch what people are doing and kind of like take the good points and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I think in relation to us and our podcast, and going back to the beginning of that statement where people, they didn't really know, there was vlogs, didn't know what they was doing or something like that. I think when they started out, it was an element of fun for them, or an element of kind of, it's a hobby.
Yeah.
And I think with us, the main thing is we never lose that.
Yeah.
For me and us. Obviously we can have targets, we can be like, okay, we actually formed a podcast now. And obviously, we all know that we now kind of will analyse and observe who else doing podcasts, what they do in their podcasts. But I think what I loved about us and how we came together, we were meeting anyway.
Yeah.
And catching up,
Yeah.
doing the same thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think as long as we don't lose that element of kind of fun, but at the same time we can focus and kind of, strategize to how we can take it to the next level. Then I'm happy with that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but let me ask you. This is for all of you guys. Yeah. Is the idea to build this to get ears because you enjoy it and you want people to hear you enjoying it and how your vibe's in, or is it because you want to really monetize it? For me, from just seeing how you guys interact with each other and the respect you have for each other, is clearly because you want people to almost be part of the vibe.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know, you want as many people to be part of the vibe? Whereas I know a lot of people that just go, bam, it's about the dough. Do you know what I mean? And I don't get the feeling that that's what you guys are coming to do. Even with the concept, do you know what I mean?
Off mic, we would be doing it anyway. We'd meet up every week and have a conversation and discuss different mindsets and things like that anyway. So, yeah, it's definitely that's not at the forefront.
I'll be honest, like, because I know you're going to speak, I've had like borderline withdrawal symptoms because we haven't like met in 2 weeks? Yeah. Like, I only started, seriously, 3 weeks, I've struggled.
Yeah. That's so sick.
I'll be dropping messages, yo, how's everyone doing? Really? I'm like, yo, when we meet?
Now, there's certain times when we've all read parts of a book and we've all said either we're going to come to the studio or sometimes we record elsewhere, like at one of our properties or whatever, and we've met up. We've just chatted for 3 hours and said, we'll just record. Like, we've just chatted to had a catch up.
Same.
We just ended up chatting for 3-4 hours and had a catch up, and we just parked off the fact we were supposed to record.
Do you know the sickest thing about this as well? What I see, why I really like the whole ebook, choosing a book is a great idea. But what this is actually doing for anyone that's plugged in and listening into it is just like 3 guys maintaining a relationship. How sick is that? How sick is that? Because I know what it's like. People get older and it's Christmas, birthdays, well, I'll go and see you later. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. But you guys are, it's a really, I use this, it's a beautiful thing because other people see it and go, you know what? In the future, I want to be able to pattern that same sort of relationship where I can meet up my brethren and just chat
Yeah.
And if it's about a book that we're going to get value from, excellent. Because that is lost, man. That is seriously lost. We all get into our families and go, up middle finger. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's so it really, really
And
is
it's the
good
whole
to see.
thing with the whole WhatsApp now. It's like, bro, like, I remember being 15, 16 on the phone to hours, whether it's house phone, mobile, hours, whether it was a girl, man, them. When my brethren ring me now, I'm like, I'll just drop them a WhatsApp message in 10 minutes sometimes. Or when I'm on the phone, I'm thinking, all right, 3-4 minutes, and that's it. It's mad how it's all changed. Do you get what I'm saying? And because of all that, it's like we're all in groups, like WhatsApp groups. There's certain people in like WhatsApp groups I'm in. We grew up together, school together, check girl together. I ain't seen them in like 3 years, but I chat to them on WhatsApp every other day.
Yeah.
That is effed up.
Mad, man.
That is
It really
effed up.
is. It really
That is
is.
proper effed up.
And the thing is, it's good of you to say that because we're all victims to this, man.
Yeah.
And then it takes something bad to happen. Do you know what I mean? Before we really get and reason and conversate. And do you know what the maddest thing is? Just by doing this, the ideas that get dropped, the experiences that get shared, you don't know what that does for another person, man. What that instills in
So
their head and what
little,
that
so
what that's able for them to do for their own journey and their own story. It's a beautiful thing, man. It really is.
No, appreciate it. Agreed. Moving on slightly, he talks about different platforms as we've mentioned. Now, this excerpt's from a Snapchat on page 184. He says, much of the competition has surely become too reliant and focused on Instagram, which means those potential eyeballs still on Snapchat are still looking for more content to feed them. If you could predict the next form of social media attention, what format do you think it will be? That's for anyone.
VR.
Yeah.
VR.
Yeah.
All right.
100% VR.
Yeah.
Alfie's going with VR, boys.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think because he mentioned something in regards to.
I was gonna.
Yeah,
get to
he
that
mentioned
as well.
something like that, and I was trying to think. What did he say? What did he say?
Maybe augmented reality. Did
That
we
was
talk
it.
There's
about
a couple answers. I'll get to them after. I just wanted to see
Yeah.
what everyone's thoughts was.
Yeah, I'm never up to date technology, so I'm going VR.
Hold on, let me get it up. One of them is not.
But I also think the whole AI thing as well, because this AI, I know it's artificial, that include drivable cars and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right, the whole AI thing is moving along.
Yeah.
Where's Texas? Is it California where they have? Is it called a Texas or something?
Oh God.
So, yeah, but basically there's things that have probably been built and are out there that are beyond our kind of capacity right now. That 20 years in the future. Do you get what I'm saying?
He talks about voice first.
Voice first, yeah.
You know, like
Alexa.
Yeah.
That's
I'm not
gonna
talking
be-
to Alexa. I'm not talking to none of them people right now. I'm telling
No, do you know what?
People are listening already.
Yeah,
boy.
man.
You know too much.
He gives some compelling arguments on how it's going to help, and I'll when I find the notes, I'll actually go back into it.
And I remember basically what he says is that it's far easier rather than running out of toothpaste and writing
Yeah, I
it
know,
down
you're
in
doing
your
the
box. Just go
bathroom,
Alexa, go and get this. But like you said, man, Alexa's a chief, man.
Listen,
Yeah.
He's a chief,
What's
man.
everyone's thoughts on the whole conspiracy thing with Alexa?
100%.
I don't know if you've seen it or not.
The whole
100%.
I
okay.
think everyone's seen the video.
Yeah.
100%.
I heard about what was it?
So when you ask Alexa, does she work for the government, it goes silent, and things of that nature.
Wearing a wire, Alexa.
I mean, this is how they always do it. Innit? They sell us that it's there to give us, to provide us with security. We're going off, but then ultimately there's a higher agenda.
Of course.
There's always a higher agenda. Of
course.
Like they always sell us on the security of it, and then there's the higher agenda. Do you know the biggest contracts with Facebook? Well, they got the government.
Seriously?
That's how they make their money with.
I'm very like. See, for me, I don't want to go into it because these lot will try to steer me away. Like, no, in terms of like Facebook and all that type of stuff. Like, I have serious beef with. No. I have like a hard time. Whether it's using Facebook or using it, I play with Instagram, but now the fact that he owns Instagram as well, it's quite problematic for me because the fact that he kind of like, what's the word? Influenced, whether it's voting or all that type of stuff. Yeah, well, look at him, he's dirty, man. You're dirty, and I can't like seriously. You're dirty.
You've heard this rhetoric.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
just so
you
know.
remember, like he's saying, I think it was like 2017. He said, "What's good for Facebook isn't necessarily good for the world."
Yeah.
Come on,
it's
man.
Ill. That was
Somebody
ill.
saying that. Come on. But what's what I did now? So
Yeah, we're
say
too far gone.
some ours, they say.
Yeah, it's too far.
Madness.
What about yourself, Moose? What's your thoughts? Anything?
No.
No, don't want to get shot. I like your style.
Alright, cool. Let me find the next question before we move on.
Oh gosh.
As you're finding that, my dad, like for years, has been talking to like what's the one on Apple?
Siri.
He be having real conversation. Me and my cousin, we looking up, who the fuck's he talking to? And he be going, I don't even know what I'm trying to think of like he will really say. Oh, I can't think of anything. Like something so simple, and he's having a real conversation. And I be sitting there thinking, how is he having a conversation with this thing? And
yeah, so
no, go on.
I was just going to talk about like the numbers when it talks about, you know, you get video likes and numbers and things of that nature. So he mentions, don't ever decide for yourself that videos about you or the things that you like to do won't be compelling to anyone else. Let the market decide. Trust me, it will be honest with you.
Yeah.
The market decides, and the market's obviously numbers. At what point does the numbers actually matter?
We've had this discussion amongst ourselves, haven't we?
That's why I've asked the
We've had
question.
discussion because what happened when we first started with Fully Booked, we couldn't give it. We actually just said, let's just throw it out there on the outlet, see if anyone vibes to it. Basically, like we love just chatting, and sometimes we just crack jokes, and maybe someone else might find it, maybe they won't. Then it was like, okay, about the numbers, like this person got this, and then it was like we didn't start this for this numbers thing, like, and we just parked that to the side again. Like we're not fussed, but I can see why numbers could matter. You could be an influencer, then you can get branding and all this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
It's validity, innit? That's it. That's it. For like, if you've got validity within your own heart, it doesn't ever really matter. You just keep on putting out the content. But I think what kills that as well, really, really is a killer, is when you look left and right at competition. Well, it's not even competition, but you start labelling it, innit? You go, okay, this other person's got a podcast, this is what they're doing. Yeah. And it takes the essence and the rawness and the energy out of what you're doing, because you start going, I'm comparing. And I think that's when the numbers become, I don't know, they become challenging.
So like, I hear Chucky say this quite often, like, he's having conversations for the sake of having conversations. He's not doing this for like John down the road. So John doesn't need to tune in if John doesn't like what Chucky is saying. And the same kind of like goes here, dare I say, in regards to us having conversations. So if Chucky's having a conversation which is going to help like Peter and Joseph down the road, then obviously then that's fantastic. And ultimately, I kind of think the same thing in regards to the conversations we have here. So like, we're having a wider conversation about crushing it, and if this is going to inspire or motivate someone, then that's fantastic. And ultimately, I think at the core of all of us, actually, because we spoke about this in regards to the altruism, or I think it was.
Yeah.
We spoke about, I mean, we're more giving than we are, dare I say, selfish. And I think like the wider argument or wider debate in regards to some of the stuff that I want to do, ultimately, I think is actually bigger than me. I want to give back, but ultimately there are goals within those things that I actually want to achieve. So if this helps me, opens the door in regards to having a wider audience and talking to people, then fantastic.
But the thing is, the way you said it, I think allows it to build organically.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? And that's for me, that's because I'm gonna say a swear word here, but everybody knows that people be buying followers. People be buying likes. Everybody, and that to me shows what you're trying to do, as opposed to the whole organic, natural process of I'm just going to put out, have fun, and see what happens. Ultimately, you do want it to grow because you want more people to see it,
of course,
whatnot. But there's certain people that literally will buy their way to that, and that's just false to me.
Yeah.
So.
No, agreed. The next page, or the next part, is about Facebook. And I know we've mentioned it already, but he mentions, here's the reality: if you're going to build a personal brand and trying to monetize it, you have to have a Facebook page, period. Do you think that's still relevant today?
Do you know what? Sorry to jump in here.
Yeah, that's a question. Go ahead.
Because I was I've got that's my book, but like I was also listening to the book when we jumped in the car together, and just before as well actually, and he actually, with the Facebook thing, I think you've tricked us with this question as well. Because he later on goes on to say that with Facebook, it will come back around. He goes on to say it will come back around. So for all those, Facebook hit us when we was, I don't know, late teens, early 20s. It was after MySpace, innit? Yeah. And what's happening is a generation grew up with Facebook. Then what happens is some of us tail off. We're families, we're of an age now. Actually, I can't bother to keep up with all this. Other brands come in, or other social platforms come in, your Snapchats, take up the younger audience. But obviously, what he's saying is it will come back around because Facebook and Instagram are the same person, right?
Yeah, now yeah.
And also Facebook, government, it has to be there. Facebook has to be there. So it will look at ways to come back around. So in terms of, in relation to your question about Facebook profile, if Facebook's always going to be one of the biggest things, and if you're looking at Facebook as a way to help with your business or to monetize, then yes, I would agree. If that's what you're about, if you're about that social life and that's where you're making your money, that's where your main business is, you have to have a Facebook profile for me. Whether that's a business one or a personal one, whatever, you have to have one.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny because when he said that, I sat there and thought to myself, is it really coming back around? I mean, I know it's got a huge demographic, so it's going nowhere anytime soon. But is it really coming back around? I'm not too sure. I mean...
The other thing I found, sorry to cut you as well, when I go abroad, people are still on it.
Yeah, a lot.
People are still on it. Like, people are I remember the first time, this is going a bit off topic, but we were like, so we've been rocking, in the UK, or London anyway, WhatsApp is the thing, yeah? WhatsApp's the thing to use. I remember I went to Hungary and I had a little friend over there, yeah? Bro, she was like, have you got Viber? I said, what? This purple, so I had to download some purple. I said, no, we use WhatsApp. You didn't know what WhatsApp was. I was shocked because you're just so in your little bubble. You just think everyone around the world uses WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Same thing in Canada as well. Same thing in a certain part of Canada. Didn't use WhatsApp, use something else. Use Snapchat.
Yeah.
Didn't use WhatsApp, use Snapchat. Literally would use Snapchat like what's how we use WhatsApp. And I was like, it just didn't make sense to me. But obviously it's kind of where you are. So with Facebook, maybe around the world, it's still huge. But obviously within like my circles, I know people are not really on it like that no more.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on this. But like, yeah, I mean, that's a very good point actually. But in regards to like the question, I think, I mean, he talks about, meta content in terms of like different and varying your quality and obviously documenting your journey and so on and so forth. Obviously different platforms have different uses and stuff like that. So yeah, there is obviously great use to Facebook. I mean, yeah, so it's still very relevant. And as Mason mentioned before, obviously in other countries, Facebook is more relevant than it would be Instagram. Instagram seems to be the main one here, I'm going to say, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. I think it'll always be the Bitcoin of social media. Yeah.
Do you for your business, do you have a Facebook account, Fred?
Yeah, we got a Facebook, we got Insta, got a Twitter. Yeah, so I think
do you maintain them all? Do you keep them up to date?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Don't. I'm not. As I said, when it comes to social media, I've always been on my mindset is for business and business only. So when I didn't have the business, I wasn't on it, so I wasn't really playing around and getting to know and get used to it and really integrating it in my life. Whereas a lot of people use the Instagrams and they use the Twitters daily to find out the news and to have conversations. I've never really been that way inclined. So yeah, we do maintain it as much as possible, but we could do a lot more on it if we had someone else to kind of help with that side of things.
And I think that's what this book has done, certainly for myself, is made me understand the value of some of these social media platforms in certain pockets. So for example, I'm developing a website, and to begin with, I was going to have like our latest news thing, and then out of nowhere I thought to myself, and then I've gone from actually I don't have time to writing up like blogs and all that type of stuff, you know what I mean? Have a Twitter and actually go out and engage with people, like engage, like spend an hour of your day. Now have a Twitter feed on my homepage where I am talking about the news that I would have written up in the latest news, but actually go out and engage with people, or like put up links about this, that, and the third, and it makes it a lot easier. I can sit at home, on the train or wherever it is, or on lunch break, Ubering, you know, having a sandwich or what have you, and then bang, 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 and then it's out there. I've actually got the news and the content out there, and it makes life a lot easier for myself.
Cool. Do you know what? I think I had a few more questions, but to be honest, I think we've kind of covered everything without having to actually ask them. So I think if there's anything else you guys wanted to add, in terms of notes or quotes that you may have wanted to add, Mace.
I've got a bit of missing.
Let's not take too long.
No. I wouldn't know where to start. I don't want to say I wouldn't know where to start, but nah.
The one thing that I did like about it, which is there's a line that he says, what basically he's talking about people going online to create brands or whatever because of the way the world and the economy is going. So many jobs are disappearing to so much. And he said, I've put it here, if you unexpectedly had nothing but time, what would you do? And it just made me really think that by going online, there's so many, like sometimes you feel like what you're doing is you're so singular and you're the only person that does it, but because you get that reach by being online. I guess that's the nice thing about on social networks. You can find, like he was talking about, people that do like the the two grannies that talk about films, and it's just they wouldn't be able to have that without the online. So that I really liked. The little mini communities, I guess it's cool.
Absolutely. I think some of those stories you'll probably get into in the book review and kind of really delve into that. But I think in regards to having you here and kind of getting your opinion and
thank you, man.
Really
I appreciate it, man.
Big shout out. Thank you for coming through, man.
Thank you, man.
Definitely.
It's great. I enjoyed it, man. It's good.
Cool.
We're not gonna lie. French was slightly gassed when you said you'd be up for coming.
I didn't know what I was going to say.
I think the term for French, for Box in our group chat was like, "Yo, French, your boy replied."
Nah, man. Let me know the next
I did actually say that.
This has been great, man. I really enjoyed it, man. The vibe's
Appreciate it, man.
been beautiful, man. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening, everyone.